Look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis, and President Trump was instrumental in negotiating a ceasefire with India and Pakistan. This is all in the last week. President Trump and his team are working incredibly hard on behalf of the country and the world to secure peace deals and trade deals. And don't forget, we have a tax deal coming too. The administration is working with Capitol Hill to sign the largest tax cuts in American history right now.
So this CNN is embarrassed as they have to list down the wins of President Trump, one of which is the release of an American hostage from Gaza. Mainstream media pushes back after the White House announces the refugees coming from South Africa. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sends a warning to the Department of Justice. Now, I want to begin with Eden Alexander's story. He was captured by Hamas and was there for 584 days. Eden is the last living American hostage that was held by Hamas. And while we may not understand all of it, I want you to listen to the pure emotion of his mother as Steve Witkoff hands her a phone with her son on the line.
עידן? אתה בחוץ? נשמה שלי, אתה בחוץ? זהו, אני פה, אני מחכה לך. הכל טוב, אתה בסדר, אתה מוגן, אתה בבית. הכל טוב, תן בראש, אתה חזק, עוד מעט נפגשים. אוהבת אותך, נשמה שלי אוהבת אותך, יאללה, אני רוצה לראות אותך, קדימה. They just released a photo of you. You look unbelievable, wow. You look beautiful. I love you so much. אתה נראה מדהים. I love you and I'm gonna see you like soon. Very soon.
Now, I do think most of us would agree that this was a very powerful moment, with the militant group calling it a goodwill gesture, one that's aimed at reviving mediated efforts to end the 19-month war. Hamas is saying that the other hostages remaining could be freed if a lasting ceasefire can be agreed upon. Now, I understand that there are still conflicts that are going on around the world, but it is refreshing to have someone in the White House who's actually geared toward peace and not war. This string of diplomatic wins for Trump's administration has not gone unnoticed, with CNN having to essentially swallow its pride and actually report on what's happening around us.
We have had a lot of news this weekend, a lot of developments for the Trump White House. The last known living American hostage in Gaza is set to be released. Progress on trade with China, this ceasefire between India and Pakistan, and now possible face-to-face talks between Zelensky and Putin for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine.
Now, here's what nobody tells you when you turn 65. Medicare isn't simple, and picking the wrong plan could cost you big time. That's why I tell everybody about Chapter. They were founded by people who watched their own parents get stuck with bad Medicare advice. And so now they make sure that you get it right the first time by checking every plan available, not just a few. Julie in Kansas saved $400 a year. Jamie in Texas got $600 added back to her Social Security. Cool thing is it's totally free. It's personal, it's smarter, and you can call them right now at 909-563-8279, or probably even easier, visit them on the web, askchapter.org/Ron. That's right, guys. Just go to askchapter.org/Ron and get the help that you deserve. Now, you got to wonder, how are they going to spin this into a negative? Well, they're covering refugees that are victims of genocide in South Africa. But instead of focusing on America helping these people, the media wants to focus on race. Here's former Representative Donna Edwards making this issue about skin color and racism.
Well, in my view, what makes it different is that they are white South Africans. The president, in my view, has not hidden his racism behind a bushel. In fact, in his policies, whether it's removing government workers or, in this case, admitting white South Africans while denying refugee status, asylum seekers from other countries, principally Central and South American and Black nations, to come into this country. And so I think that, this policy, while it's not surprising in this action, really speaks of the underlying message in this that disrespects and shows disdain for people of color, while embracing these Afrikaners now, and also expediting the process by which they can come into the country while denying that same process to other refugees.
President Trump has time and time again proven that he's not racist. Now, we've seen it in many different public settings, and he says so himself that this is not about color, it's about protecting people. So to say that this is about white or black is kind of disgusting.
Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
And I have to address something here, guys. Like, why does the media have to label them as white instead of just saying that they're South African refugees? I also have to note that many of these people are farmers who faced race-based persecution in South Africa. That was according to the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. He also added that this is what the U.S. refugee program should be used for, to help people who are victims in other nations who need a way out. And honestly, these analysts really don't have much to stand on, given what the Biden-Harris administration allowed these past 4 years. They let in criminals and terrorists, many of which are still being detained by ICE as we speak. The Trump administration is cleaning up their mess. But then we see families of farmers being flown in, and they're crying that it's all about race. Now, I do want to pivot here for a moment to talk about ICE Delaney Hall Detention Center. So, the one where Newark Mayor Ras Baraka was arrested in. Now, it looks like they've actually created the chaos that they seek, with protesters now willing to push back against federal officers. Now, what's really insane is that they're blocking the entrance of the detention center, which prevented cars from getting out. This ultimately ended up leading to more arrests. So these protesters, they must feel very empowered, especially with what AOC is saying about the DOJ.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem. Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, that's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that needs to be arrested
I think she's forgetting that they didn't set a meeting for this oversight. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't she threatening federal officials with this video? The problem with her mindset is that she instantly thinks that they're in the right, even though video proof exists where House Democrats are literally slamming into ICE officers. Now, just to prove the insanity of the left, I want you to watch a recent live stream of mine, a stream that literally proves that the tolerant left literally is not as tolerant as they want you to believe. Make sure you guys check that out. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.